Everyone, is it on? Yeah. Everything's working? I'm just checking with our tech people. Good morning, everyone. I'm Suzanne Harrison, the election chair, election committee chair, and we're here today to do the Meet the Candidate session. So I'm just going to put the agenda up. So I'd like to welcome some people. So we've got our election committee with us today, Gayatri Sriram, who's the chair board, Ed Burleson, Shrita Venkatesh, and Sosity Smith in the back. And I'd like to say a big thank you to them for all their effort and work on the election committee. So we couldn't do this without them. I'd also like to say thank you to Angeline, Wonder Woman, who organises it all, and to our tech team for coming in early and setting everything up. So the way the system is going to work today is there's going to be a round of introduction of candidates. They're going to introduce themselves to you. There's going to be a prepared Q&A session where they were given the questions and they've prepared answers. And then there's going to be candidate summaries. After that, there'll be a little bit of time if you want to grab a cup of coffee to meet informally with the candidates, if you want to have a chat or if you've got specific questions come up. And we aim to finish at 9:45 this morning. So the four candidates we have today are Julie Takeka, Michael Robertson, Namhee Park, and Suresh Ramasubbu. So welcome and thank you very much for standing. It's what makes the system work, that we have people willing to stand and come in. So the way the order works is that the very first one goes on alphabetical order of the first name, and then for the introductions. Then the questions, because we have 3 questions, will be the same, and then it turns over. So everyone has a chance to come first, and everyone has a chance to summarise at the end. So we try and make it as fair as possible. So is everyone happy? We're all sorted? So we're going to do candidate self-introductions, and we're going to start with Julie. Yeah. It should be on.
That's what press mute means? Yeah, does that work? Okay, thanks.
Thanks, Julie.
Yeah, thank you, Susan. Good morning. I'd like to start off by thanking Susan, Gayatri, Andrew, and the AISC community for allowing me the opportunity to continue my role on the school board. Being part of the board has truly been a privilege, and it's been a highlight of being part of the community here in Chennai, so I thank you for that. My family's journey started in Chennai over 8 years ago, in 2011, when my daughter was 6 and my son was just 2. Ava started here in the 1st grade and is now getting ready to travel to Mumbai for Saisa soccer. I think they're leaving tomorrow. And she's also looking forward to continuing her ambitions to become a doctor when she starts high school here next year. Ishan started preschool with Miss Jayashri back in 2012 and is now in the 4th grade. His ambition continues to be to get Leo Messi on the coaching staff with the Raptors. Good luck with that, Andrew. We'll see how that goes. But despite coming to Chennai for my husband's work, I've been able to continue my career here in Chennai, as I currently work at PayPal, just down on the OMR. My role there is managing governance for their global operations team, and it continues to be a pleasure to be able to work here as well as participate as a parent in this community. My involvement started with the school board about 5 years ago when I joined the Council of Advisors. At the time, I joined the Futures and Governance Committee and then expanded my role 2 years ago when I joined the board, first being on the Finance Committee and then this year chairing governance. Being part of the board has been an honor and an amazing journey. When I look at the work that we've done this year, I'm also reminded of the many opportunities we have to continue to move forward. And this is why I asked the community to provide me the opportunity to continue my service and do the great work that we're doing.
Thanks, Julie.
Good morning. My name is Michael Robertson. I'm very honored to be here this morning and to be included in this great group of candidates for the Board of Directors position here at AISC. I'm originally from Vancouver, Canada, which is where I grew up, completed my education, where I met my wife and university. She happens to be from Chennai, which is where she grew up. So after having a couple of kids, we decided to relocate to India so that our children would have an appreciation of this culture and also of their Indian heritage. I've been dealing professionally with India since 2006. And residing here since 2010, living and working here. I'm a part of the A.V. Thomas group of companies, and I have experience in managing both mid to larger size multinational operations. During the course of the past 4 years, I have established 2 new startup companies based here in Chennai. And it's really given me an appreciation for the very distinct differences in cultural outlooks and the way that things operate differently between the 2 countries. And I believe that this lends itself well to the role here on the board at AISC. In 2017, we spent quite a bit of time evaluating this school for our children. We interacted with parents, we attended some events, and we observed how the student-teacher interaction was. And while the facility is fantastic, really it was the progressive community and the culture here that made us decide that we wanted to invest in our children's education here. Today I have 3 students that are attending, and we're looking forward to having all 3 of them graduate from AISC.
Thanks. Mr. Park?
Okay, everybody is good morning. This morning I saw some very special concert at school. I really like this kind of atmosphere because school should be like this. I'd like to introduce myself first. My name is Namipa, who is Byung-chan's father. I am very proud of my son. I worked at Samsung Electronics for 25 years. I had business with the North American business for 10 years. And then also, I stayed in the Greece for 7 years. So I had a lot of business European. And then after that, I had a business with Africa. So fortunately, finally I came to India. So also I have a good chance to apply to the board members also. I think the school education is the most important thing in my life because my son is also, all our students is our future. So we should invest our effort, our passion, or everything to our students and children. So I'm very happy to join this meeting. Thank you very much.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Suresh Ramasabu. I also go by Suren, so it's the same person. I was born and raised in India, which means although I wanted to be a writer all my life, I ended up with an electrical engineering degree from one of the top schools not too far from here. I went on to do my master's in electrical engineering as well from Virginia Tech in the States, and I worked for tech companies for a few years. I also did my MBA from UCLA during that time, and decided to, go entrepreneurial. The entrepreneur bug bit me, and I launched an educational technology startup about 10 years ago, and it's based out of Chennai, Bangalore, and LA. A couple of years ago, due to a family crisis, I was forced to move back to India to take care of a family business. It was a construction company, a 26-year-old construction company based out of Chennai, and that has built a lot of factories, schools, and commercial buildings that you see around the city and its suburbs. So, aspiring writer, electrical engineer to MBA, startup founder, construction manager, who am I? It's the eternal question, right? I'm a masala mix of all the above. And I have two children in AISC, Isha in junior year and Sham in 7th grade.
Thank you. So we're going to go on to the questions. And question 1, I'm just going to read it out, and then the candidate's going to answer in the same cue that they just did. So, good governance takes time and energy. In what ways have you demonstrated your commitment to the AISC school community? And we'll start with Julie.
Thank you, Susan. My commitment to the school focuses on 2 areas. First, the organization aspect of the school, and second, the community. From an organizational standpoint, my commitment started when Gayatri called me and asked me to join the Council of Advisors several years ago. At first, I wasn't sure how my professional career in strategy and governance and operations would add to the value of an institution. I quickly learned that professional experience and best business practices did add value, especially where contributions in futures, finance, and governance. Specifically to my current role in governance, I chair the committee that oversees the policies that govern our school. My commitment has been on ensuring that the school policies address all of the commitments and opportunities, starting with fiduciary obligations, but also look beyond to meet our missions, the cornerstones of our admissions, and cover topics such as ethics, as well as generative opportunities in areas that we focused on this year, such as communications and food service policies. I'm continually to be amazed at the range and extent of topics that the board is challenged with to address, and that the school's leadership is driven to take them on. From a community standpoint, my husband and I believe that sports is an essential part of our children's lives, as well as a cornerstone of the AISC community. We've always supported our children in participating in the SICE and the ASIAC programs. And while supporting and attending the events, we've taken every opportunity to host students that travel to Chennai to participate in all of the events here at the school. So this has been an important part of our contributions to the community and the education of our children.
Thanks, Julie. So, Michael?
My boy is Rohan is in grade 9, Adesh is in grade 7, and Kairav is in grade 3. So having children in all 3 levels of the school, elementary, middle, and high school, present a lot of opportunities for us to be engaged with the community here. Participation in classroom activities, coffee mornings, STEAM projects, UN days, Feb flings, and of course the whole range of student teacher or parent-teacher evaluations means that we're on campus quite regularly. My boys are also participants in the Raptors Swim Club. So over the last 2 years, we've become swim parents. Anytime that there's an event here on campus, I volunteer to ensure that we're supporting the group. And we've also had the good fortune to travel with the team to many of the outstation locations as well. It's through the participation in all of these events that we've been able to see firsthand how the mission of the school is directly impacting the students overall. I've watched as the confidence has grown amongst the swimmers over various events. I've really seen a lot of courage displayed by children participating in MUN, getting up and speaking in front of people and their debates. So really this has had a great impact on us and why we continue to participate the way we do. Further to this, in October of last year, there was a vacancy created here on the board of directors, and I was encouraged to participate and to volunteer my time to take part in the board of directors. So as of December of this year, I was formally announced as part of the board, and I've been also had the good fortune of serving on the governance committee along with Julie. And while it's been a very short time, I've become very, very enthusiastic about the school and its operations, and I look forward to doing this work further.
Thanks, Michael. Namhi?
Yes, good governance I thought again and again at home about this question, really. In my opinion, good governance needs and takes more time and energy. But however, we must do for our children. For 1 year, I joined several events and meetings like International Day, Partners Day, and some special music concert, and then especially some play, which my son did. I really enjoyed that play. Actually, compared to the Korean school, really is good atmosphere and environment. Thank you very much for school. So, as a parent, we should attend as much as we can some kind of some event and meeting at school. I try to attend the school and the event too, because I think this is very, very important. So if I become the board member, in the case, I will try more attend and I will pay attention on this kind of event. Thank you.
Thank you, Nam-hee. Suresh?
I absolutely agree that good governance takes time and energy. I've been an AISC parent for 2 years now, and my interactions with the school has been very selfish. I run on the track every day. If you see a guy running around the track every morning, that's me. I use the fitness center. I play tennis with my son. I play ultimate frisbee on Sundays. I think it got shut down. I need to talk to Mr. Hoover. But I use the facilities so much, and I sort of feel guilty and want to give back. Of course, I come to all the events and participate in the school events that the school put together. But in a previous life, 2 years ago, back in the States, I was a different person. I was this helicopter dad that would chauffeur the kids around, not just my kids, all the kids, and coach the debate team. I was on the PCA board, and all the things. I was a tiger dad or the helicopter dad for many years. So for 2 years, I've not had the time to devote to school. But now that I have made some time, I would like to make the most effective use of it towards the and contribute to the betterment of the school and the community. So demonstrating commitment to the school and being involved is nothing new to me. And it's just that I took a 2-year break, and I'd love to hit the road running again.
Thank you, Suresh. We're up to question 2. Here is Andrew's favourite. The AISC's mission. Together we inspire a love of learning, empowering all students with the courage, confidence, creativity and compassion to make their unique contribution in a diverse and dynamic world. What are the key elements that make a great school? Please focus your answer on AISC's mission. And this time we're going to start with Michael and go that way around. Thanks, Michael.
So I believe a great school is a reflection of a thriving and progressive community of students, parents, faculty, and its leadership. Successful schools develop on the whole child, not only their academic performance, but also the physical fitness as well as their mental well-being. We focus on the development of the skills necessary to succeed in an ever-changing world. We work to develop a global citizen. And we focus on the learning styles of the individual child, providing opportunities for customized learning to nurture their individual talents and interests. Great schools provide opportunities for the parents, for the community to become engaged and to develop meaningful relationships within. Research has shown that the more a parent is involved in a child's education, the greater the success for the child overall. Great schools will also attract the best possible teachers, counselors, principals, all of whom are well educated, they're well informed, and they meet the high levels of expectation of the school. Teachers are also supported through ongoing professional development. They're provided opportunities for leadership, and for collaboration with their peers within their own community, but also outside of their community as well. Because also there's a direct positive correlation between a teacher's job satisfaction and the overall learning experience the child has. But most importantly, a great school is dynamic. It can never be complacent on the successes that they've had, but rather they look through regular evaluations and reflections. A great school will build on those successes and modify where it needs to improve.
Thanks, Michael. Namhi?
Okay. The key element to the great school. For this one, to make a great school, I think three things is the most important thing. First is learning, second empowerment, third is communication. So first case is learning. Of course, learning is the most important thing. So when our children and students learn and study, they can make their dream and make it true. I'd like to talk about the Korean education system and history a little, because as you know, Korea was a very poor country in the past, long time ago. However, Korean parents and they made a lot of effort to the education. That's why after that we developed very fast. So I think learning is the most important things. And then second case is empowerment. I don't think empowerment is easy, because we should wait and we should give some time and freedom to the children until they can do by themselves. For this one also, I thought my young age, when I was high school at the time, I made a lot of mistakes. However, my parents and my teachers waited until I overcome my issue. So that's why I become now. I really appreciate my parents and my teachers. And then last one is communication. I think communication is more important because between the parents and the school. Why? I think we can overcome many issues under even the bad situation. So in conclusion, I think learning, empowerment, and then communication is the most important key element to school. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Namhi. Suresh?
Put together, I've spent 24 years of my life in formal education, and I wouldn't have done that without having a love for learning. And that was, of course, because of the schools and teachers that I went to. And I love that part about AISC. Now, learning in and of itself is a goal for any school, but imbibing the joy of learning or inculcating a joy for learning is above and beyond the learning itself. And I believe that that is captured beautifully in AISC's mission and spirit as well. Secondly, it's a dynamic world out there. The world that I grew up in is not the same anymore. And experts say that by the time our children graduate, the jobs that we are preparing them for will not exist anymore. So, the rapid pace of change is something that we have to prepare students for. An international school by default is diverse, and developing a sense of compassion for the less fortunate and for people different from you is, again, a noble mission for a school to have. I really applaud the current and past leadership and governance of the school for having captured these key elements, a core and integral part of AISC's mission today. And what you have done is truly noble and inspiring. I wish every school adopted this kind of mission.
Thank you, Suresh. Julie?
Thank you. Having a clear mission at our school enables us to know what is important and to prioritize it on what makes the education for our kids great. I believe the first element of a great school is the approach of inspired learning. A student body with a thirst for learning comes not just from the high caliber educators, but creating an education opportunity for students which utilize relevant courses, tools, and the facilities needed for it. The second element is an educational environment where students confidently and fearlessly seek to challenge themselves and be themselves. I'm not an educator, but I do know that students having the ability to pursue their interests combined with the tools, training, and academic policies and a vision is essential to achieve it. So while a student's inspiration and confidence start with the work of the school, it's the board's duty to support, fund, and govern this and the programs that they put in place. So the two really must work hand in hand. The third element, as Suresh called out, is diversity. I've always been in awe of the unique, diverse community that we have at the school. And as the world becomes flatter and our children are pushed to and challenged to thrive in diverse and often unfamiliar communities, I'm convinced that this is the best place for my kids to be. That said, diversity doesn't sustain itself on its own, and our children can't thrive in it without the necessary confidence, which is why it is a priority for the board to support, govern, and to protect a school that defines itself as diverse, as we do in our mission.
Thanks, Julie. So we're going to move to question 3. What 3 strategic opportunities do you see for AISC? Please focus your answer on governance, teaching and learning, and facilities. And this time we're going to start with Namhee.
I think AISC already has a lot of good opportunities. So I'd like to talk about 3 things among a lot of opportunity. First is a good community. Why is a good community? I saw many good community at school, board member and the teacher and the student and the parents. The most important thing is how to make the most of them. I don't think it's only one person can do this one. All community work together and for better school. And then second, I think AISC is international school. That means there are a lot of students from the many countries. It is good opportunity to students who will live in the global period. So our students can learn the many things at class. At the same time, they can learn. They can have a chance to learn the global culture and can meet many friends who come from the many different background and country. In this global period, AISC has a good opportunity making global citizen with open mind. And then last is good facility. AISC has good facility in school. I don't think we can easily find this kind of place in Chennai. So I'd like to suggest we should utilize our facility as much as we can. I know we are using some facility as a language class after school and weekend. So I'd like to suggest the more and the more after school program weekend activity for students and parents, if we can, as like sports and habit. I think in conclusion, AIS has many opportunity, so we should use and use as much as we can. Thank you.
Thank you, Namhee. Suresh?
The primary role of any board is long range and strategic. And I want to frame this as both strategic challenges and strategic opportunities. Challenge is an opportunity, in my opinion. On governance, I see a couple of challenges. I would love to influence the board to add a small nuance to the mission to encompass, daring ambition and healthy competition as one of our core values, because it is a dynamic world out there and we have to prepare our students to be able to compete. I also represent a constituency in the school community that has some concerns and some grumblings that I've heard in social gatherings and in meeting them privately about rising tuition costs and things like that. And I'm sure that has been brought to the attention of the school board and the leadership. But I feel that constituency needs to be represented on the board as well in some form. So the sustainability and financial model and the perception that the community has of the school is really important to the sustainability of the school itself. On the teaching and learning part, I feel, the board has just one employee, the head of the school, and it is the responsibility of the head of the school to ensure that teaching and learning is effective. The best metaphor I read recently is about the air traffic controller who, along with the pilot, defines the flight plan, and then the head of school is the pilot who steers in the right direction based on the plan. Now, I've interacted with several hundred educators and administrators across the globe as part of my EdTech startup, and the pilot we have on the joystick is one of the best. So I'm sure that the role of the board in this case is to ensure that the captain has all the tools and tools and whatever he needs to be effective in his job. Absolutely love and adore the facilities here, like I said before, and I've not heard of a single school in India that has this type of facility. Just wish that we're able to protect this going forward, and also any investments we make should be cost effective and capital efficient.
Thank you, Suresh. Julie?
Thank you. This is always a difficult question to answer because I feel like it's that last couple of percent. The school is already quite fantastic, as I've seen over the last 8 years. But thinking through where we can start hone in and where we can start expanding on opportunities, the first area I would say is expanding educational opportunities through partnerships. One of my visions when I joined the board was to ensure that all students get the education of their choice. A true love of learning means having a world of options that each student can study what and where they want and not be limited by a school, an education system, or community. So as AISC inspires to empower students in owning their education, I think it would be great to expand this opportunity through partnerships where students can seek out educational experiences with institutions in the countries that represent their ambitions. The other opportunity I would expand on is community engagement. I think as most families were in spring break, a lot of them connected with AISC families that were here at one time or another. I know we talked about a family you met in London that was close with my family as well. And one thing that really sank in is despite the fact that this family had been gone for several years, that connection with the Chennai community remained. It remained a priority for them. And these bonds, they last and they serve as reminders of how diverse, dynamic, and engaged the community is at this school. I think these relationships should be nurtured not just for sincere personal reasons, but to ensure that our children continue to appreciate the value of their education here. So I think expanding on the foundation of the Alumni Association or the alumni organization that Kirsten has built would be a great opportunity. And the third is to ensure stability through governance. I know I keep talking about governance over and over again, but this is an area where we continue to develop to ensure that the school stays in the stable state that it is.
Thanks, Julie. Michael?
I believe that good governance takes into consideration the community as a whole, and it's not individual specific. Policy making needs to involve all the relevant stakeholders so that the shared ownership within our school involving the students, parents, and the facility. I know firsthand on the governance committee that they're very focused on working towards a feedback loop, improving communications amongst the community as a whole. And I would say that we need to further this work to ensure that all informed actions are taken based on the overall community inputs and needs. Today, our world is an overstimulated world with so many digital distractions. Our students, the average student, is under a lot more stress than we ever were as students. And so we really need to look at the overall well-being of the community. I think that the use of technology in schools, it's still relatively new. But we're at a point now where we're starting to see the research coming available on the long-term impact of technology. And so we need to do some strategic evaluation to see, have we got it right, or do we need to make some modifications? Fortunately, we've got a fantastic team at AISC that is, at the forefront of this area. So we need to ensure that they remain supported and give the necessary resources to do this work. Facilities, we would all agree that we've got an amazing facility here at AISC, and the opportunity I see here is to pay it forward to the community that we reside in. We can establish AISC as a learning hub for the other educational institutes within Chennai. For example, providing support to schools that may be implementing an IB program, providing them some resource or some guidance there. Ultimately, we can forge a long-term student and teacher collaborations with those other schools to facilitate some ongoing learning and professional development.
Thank you, Michael. So that's the 3 questions, and we're going to move now to candidate summaries. And this time we're going to start with Suresh.
I'm personally very passionate about educational technology because that's what I've been doing for the last 10 years. I've been to a number of educational technology conferences, and I've been amazed by some of the brilliant work that's being done by teachers and schools around the world. And I absolutely wish some of those ideas were brought into AISC. And Gayatri was talking to me about serving in other capacities, if not in the board, as a part of the committee or part of the technology committee and things like that, and contribute what I've learned over the years. So I'd be absolutely delighted to do that. I'd love to see that kind of AISC being in the forefront of that kind of change and being a leader in this area. Secondly, I feel that I'm uniquely qualified to serve on the board because I have this diverse perspective from living in the States for a long time and running an ed tech company and managing a construction company in India, being connected to the industrial houses in and around Chennai. I feel the school is facing some unique challenges at this point of time, and I would be able to help with that in a unique way that that may not be easily replicatable. Now, overall, I feel that AISC is doing an amazing job, and like I said, I applaud the leadership and the governing body for what you have done so far. And I only wish that the school is taken to greater heights from here, and love to contribute to make that happen.
Thank you, Suresh. Julie?
Thank you. Being part of the community and being part of the board has been a passion for me and my family for several years. And having the opportunity to continue to serve is definitely something that I'm inspired and enthusiastic to do. Having been here for so long in Chennai, we've seen evolution in the schools, we've seen evolution in the community, we've seen people come and go and have built global relationships and partnerships and friendships from it. And I have a thorough understanding of the school and where we've been and where we're going. And I think that provides a unique qualification. I think also summarizing my professional skills, having focused on strategy and on operations and on governance, I bring a very qualified skill set to the board to be able to collaborate with the various different committees to ensure that we're all working together and we're all working in the same direction towards the mission, and then it's all pulled together under the finance and governance umbrellas. So I think that's the second area where I've been very passionate about and where we've seen a lot of growth. And then finally, I would just, having had seen, a number of different committees with the board over the last few years, it has provided me a good spectrum of the opportunities and challenges and work that we have in front of us. And I'd ask for the community's support to continue the focus. So thank you.
Thanks, Julie. Michael?
We have to keep running to stay in the same place. This quote from Alice in Wonderland reminds me about what it takes to be at the forefront of education today. When I volunteered last October to participate in the board of directors, I did so because I felt that my consistent corporate achievement, my experience in operating in multiple cultures, and my community involvement would suit me well to service on this board. As a father with children in the elementary, middle, and high school, I have an appreciation for the challenges that families may face as they go through the educational system. I also see our school from a multitude of different vantage points, which is why I'm a cheerleader for maintaining all the wonderful things about AISC, and there are a lot of them. And I'm also a champion for seizing new opportunities that would provide even greater outcomes for all of our children. I look forward to serving this community as a caretaker for the school and of its mission.
Thanks, Michael. We're going to finish with Namhee.
A few months ago, the previous board member, Miss Lee, suddenly called me. How about to becoming the board members? So at that time, I didn't think about. So after calling, I thought again and again, what is the board member? What is the role of the board member? And then I decided to apply it. Why? I had some story because when I stayed in the Greece, at that time, the American school community and then parents, they supported me and my family a lot. So that's why big support from the school, our family, and my sons. So settled down and we enjoyed a lot. Now is 2 years later, my second son will graduate. After I want to, now it's my turn. I want to support, I want to help other parents, other students, because I should return the benefit from the previous my school. So if I have some chance in that case, I will do my best to school and student. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Namhee. So that concludes the formal part of the morning. You now get an opportunity to grab a cup of coffee or tea